not emotionally prepared.
Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome to the... what is it? It's a Wednesday! Welcome to the Wednesday stream, the Shadows of Sorcery stream, the D&D stream. Welcome, everyone, to today's session, which is starting. Good night. Good night, Alexander. It is only 6 o'clock where we are, but, yes. But yes, welcome everyone to the 16th session of Shadows of Sorcery, where last we left off, our dear adventuring party of utter fools had finally arrived at the, let's say, furthest point of their journey that they can get to at the moment. What you meant was good evening. I see. But yes, joining us this evening, we have a Zerian.
Hello.
We have a Rakar.
I just arrived. Hello.
Joining literally.
Edit Ed.
Who is trying very hard not to be ill.
Oh dear.
And we have a Lydia.
Welcome to Wednesday.
Welcome to Wednesday. Lying is running a tad late today because I believe they slept through their alarms.
Yet somehow was still able to post a Discord message about it.
Yeah, I mean, they posted the Discord message 2 minutes before the stream start time, so you know they're probably waking up.
What do we like to call the bed prison? That's what I imagine it is.
The bed prison. I see. At any rate,
Yes.
Today we are delving back into the world of Shadows of Sorcery. When we last left off, our intrepid crew of adventurers had just arrived at the entrance gates to North Cragstead and the airship dock that is contained, or that is next to the town itself. So, last time our intrepid adventurers had defeated a band of bandits in the hills. They camped out for the night, had 25 gold stolen from one particular party member's pockets after they essentially let one of the bandits escape.
After just the worst perception rolls.
Just absolutely the worst perception rolls from our wizard. And then proceeded to make their way down through Daggerfall Pass without many more events taking place, and arrived at the gates to North Cragstead. North Cragstead being the sister town to South Cragstead on the other side of the Daggerfall Pass. When our party arrived, they saw a familiar group of travellers, two of which, a pair of elderly gentlemen, were bickering wildly and quite heatedly about the state of their party and their journey. Now, I am going to provide you all with a little bit of background very quickly. So, North Cragstead, this you would be aware of, is located on the edge of the one of 5 chasms of banishment. The chasms of banishment were created during the first cataclysm, when the god Benor raised a primordial titan from beneath the crust of Erathan's surface. In this occurrence, the chasms were created, quite a lot of cities were destroyed, and after the cataclysms, the chasms then filled with seawater, and there are 5 of them spanning 3 different continents across the planet. They occupy the upper northern hemisphere of the planet on, I don't really know, I guess kind of the western side of it. It's a bit difficult to tell you without actually being able to show you a view of the planet. The chasms of banishment are about 3 kilometers wide at their widest point, and usually taper up to a point on one end, and they kind of make a star shape in the terrain. Usually, people would take a sailing ship to get from anywhere like Radavi, anywhere on the Radavi continent. They would usually take a sailing ship around the chasms of banishment, but some people have to make do with walking most of the way. That is why there exists a pair or a set of airship ferries to ferry people across from one side of the chasm to the other. That is what these docks are for. Okay, with that explanation out of the way, I would like to very quickly... hold on a moment. Have we lost an Ed? No, we haven't, Ed. Okay, that's confusing me. One moment.
I imagine Ed is right here.
Ed's reactive portrait is not showing up for some reason. Oh my god.
That was weird. Oh god.
I see. That's why it's not showing up for some reason, because Ed's done some customization options to his reactive portrait, and it's odd. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I can work with that. Right. As the 5 of you...
What?
You've apparently done some customization options to your reactive image in Fujitech.
Not that I'm aware of, but cool.
You've got a holographic, glitchy image, so... I don't know.
Oh, that's actually kind of sick.
It
I mean, I never set up the first one, so I have no idea anyway.
Okay.
Good grief.
Okay, anyway.
I mean, my reactive image... fuck it.
Don't fuck your reactive image.
As the 5 of you approach...
What's on the agenda?
This airship dock, you see before you a troop of familiar travelers. A middle-aged scholarly woman, a priest in black and red robes, a knight, a jester of some sort, possibly a bard,
Who is currently experiencing loss of their soul.
and 2 elderly men in long flowing robes and pointy hats, one of which is holding a rather large book under one arm, and the other of which is holding a very, very big staff. And these men are shouting at each other. It is a row of epic proportions. The man in purple robes with the large staff is consistently shouting, "Well, Corvus, if you hadn't made sure that our route was safe, then we wouldn't be in this predicament." And the other man goes, "Well, I'm hardly the one to blame, you Lork. You were the one who said we should camp down for the night under some rusty old archway. It's not my fault we got ambushed, is it?" and this conversation seems to be carrying on for a while. They seem to be debating the same points back and forth, not really getting anywhere with the whole conversation, and the people around them seem to be done with the whole thing. What would the four of you and Darren, who isn't here at the moment, like to do?
Keep posing.
Send Darren a pic.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What was that?
Nah, I've already done it anyway. It's also weird because I've got my push to talk still bound to V. Thank you, Rakan. Which means that every time I push to talk, I am just typing V into the Discord chat over and over.
Well, Ingvar's gonna, just walk over to the jester bard and ask what the hell's going on. Because he can tell they're yelling about something, so he just kind of wants a bit more information.
Okay, so you're walking up to this guy, right?
Yeah. Dragging the donkey behind me, apparently.
The donkey is part of you now.
The bard in question is leaning sullenly. I realize that the miniature doesn't exactly express that, but he is leaning sullenly against the railing, lute at his side, an expression of utter boredom on his face. And as you approach, he goes, well met, traveler. What can I assist you with? For fuck's sake. What do you want?
Well, we were just passing by in the area, and we couldn't help notice the yelling coming from these two fellows in front of us. We were just wondering what exactly was happening here.
Oh, well, long story short, we got ambushed by a bunch of bandits on the road. We lost our cart, lost our oxen, and then missed the airship crossing. And the next one isn't for another 2 days. So, needless to say, our entire band is quite irritable at the moment, and those two are just looking for someone to blame.
So they're blaming each other then. Sounds about right.
The bard nods and plucks a string or two on his lute before throwing his head back and going, I just wish they'd shut up so that we could go find a place to lodge. But no, they'll keep shouting at each other for the next 8 hours.
That is a lot of hours, good lord. Is there anything we can perhaps do to help? I mean, we're not much of a...
Unless you can summon an airship out of thin air, I doubt there's much you can do. I don't know, knock one of them out, maybe?
I don't think firing an arrow at them will help at this point, but...
No, do not include a butt in this. No.
I think that would make the situation worse.
Well, thank you.
The bard looks you up and down and goes, my name's Garrick Silvertongue, by the way. What can I call you, man?
Oh, yes. My apologies. My name's Ingvar. Ingvar Svan.
Lovely to meet you, Ingvar. Lovely to... I wish we could have met under better circumstances. Maybe in a warm tavern while I regale the patrons with my songs. But sadly, that is not the case.
I do... what was the town called that the mine was in?
South Cragstead.
Yeah. I recall we saw a glimpse of you and your party at a nearby town. You had a cart then, though. What happened to the cart?
Well, I just told you it was taken by bandits. They
We also
Oh,
walked
right.
past it, dear.
took our cart and smashed most of my belongings, including a couple of my instruments, which wasn't particularly helpful. And he seems a little on edge at this point. He's remembering things that he doesn't want to remember.
I do apologize if I brought up bad memories. I wonder if those were the same bandits we dealt with.
Oh, you dealt with them, did you? Well, you seem a lot more capable than some of our party, some of our group's members. That's good to know. At least they won't be bothering anyone else.
Yeah. But what the hell is going on back there?
Don't mind us.
We're trying to teach the donkey tricks.
All right, now sit.
Jesus. Well, I do appreciate the information. I'll speak to my travel mates and see if we can figure out a way to help.
Oh well, anything you could do to harm those two would be much appreciated, but I doubt there's anything that would keep them from this row at this point. And as he says this, the priest in the dark red and black robes approaches you and goes, well, I seem to recall you, my friend, from the previous town we were in. I do hope you weren't given any trouble on your road here.
Not too much trouble, nothing we couldn't handle on the way.
And that is wonderful news. I understand that you dealt with some banditry. I don't suppose you managed to recover a small black dagger, did you?
Not myself personally, but I shall ask my travel mates and see if one of them have picked it up. It was a little bit dark at the time, so I couldn't quite see.
Understand. Do not worry yourself too.
I do remember, if you don't mind me interjecting, we did find some potions, a couple of healing potions, and one potion that was potion of the heightened mind, I think it was. The healing potions were yours, I'm afraid.
Those are unfamiliar to me, but I'm sure you'll make good use.
Oh yes, one of our friends certainly needed the healing, but just wanted to make sure if the heightened mind was yours, since didn't feel to fit. It doesn't. It felt a bit out of place with bandits.
I see. As the figure in the dark robe says this, you watch as a forked red tongue slithers and flickers out from their lips before darting back in. You notice that this individual, while humanoid in nature, from under the cowl, you can just about see the lower part of their face, glimmering deep. What at first you thought was just a trick of the light, but is actually like deep red pupils, and what at first you could have mistaken for a slim, sort of black beard is actually black, shining scales on their chin and going up their cheeks and around their neck area.
Ah. Nope.
We have a lying.
Darren wakes from his reverie.
But yes.
Well,
What are the rest of you doing during this time?
Teaching a mule tricks, apparently.
Well, now that we're done teaching it tricks, okay, let me just check something real quick. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work out. Just gonna approach the black-robed lizard man, and just, if you don't mind me asking, could I care to ask who you all are?
The black-robed figure looks down at you for a moment and then goes, well, I am Declan Melator. I am a beast of the North. My friend over there with the instrument is Garrick Silvertongue. The woman my side is Grisha Redmond, and the two elderly gentlemen behind me are Magister Veren Lork and Elder Corvus Ven, and our solemn knight companion. And as he says this, he gestures over to the knight. The knight walks up as well. Is Sir Eckler of, and as this priest, as this man in robes says this, the knight holds up a hand and says, "Just Sir Eckler. That is fine. Do not need to. It will do." And the priest goes, "Yes, Sir Eckler." And he goes on to say, "We are the official assistants to Magister Veren, third Magister of the city of Ferenhall. We are on a mission of utmost importance. Fortunately, that has been waylaid."
And and that's why there's a lot of drama about you all being late for this. I see.
Yes. It is the case. Sadly, our timetable was interrupted. The shouting behind this troop has gotten a lot quieter over the past few minutes, until at this point it's just two old men muttering to each other before the Magister walks up behind the rest of them and goes, "All right, everyone, I say we head into town, get ourselves some rooms, and wait it out for an evening or two until the airship arrives. After all, there's no point standing out here in the cold." And the other man, Elder Corpus Ven, walks up next to him and goes, "Yes, I quite agree with my compatriot. We shouldn't stay out in the cold any longer. They're both wearing what feel like very strained smiles at this point. It looks like they're agreeing out of necessity and not so much because they agree with each other.
Well, that's good, because Ingvar was slightly pondering on whether to throw a loaf of slightly licked bread at one of them to shut them up.
God, those loaves must be rocks by now.
Probably.
Oh, dearie me.
Looking back at our party, I mean, if their ship isn't going to be here, I think probably in our best interest to follow along, wouldn't it?
Oh, sorry if we caught up with reality. Yes, we have. Yes, best idea.
Yeah.
The priest looks specifically at you, Horace, and goes, well, we would be delighted to have some company. The knight doesn't really respond, he just kind of grunts. The scholarly woman goes, yes, I agree with my colleague. Some company other than these two old fools would be lovely. And you hear both of the older men sort of mutter under their breath, but don't really raise any complaints to being.
How does Gary look like he feels about that?
Garrick, the bard just.
Yeah, the bard who clearly wasn't included in that conversation just then.
Yeah.
Bard.
Garrick sort of just kind of goes, well, finally, at least we can get out of the cold. This group of people hoist their robes, as it were, and float away.
And line dance their way out of Dodge.
And as one unit march towards the gates of North Bankstead, and as they do, Garisha Redmond, the scholarly woman, turns back to you all and goes, "Well, are you coming?" And they disappear in through the gates of the town. And what you at first thought were just like the gates to the town, turns out it is not in fact gates to the town. It is just an elevator and a set of stairs, which the troop boards, as it were, and then an unseen mechanism of some sort. Actually, down to the side. There we go. An unseen mechanism of some sort lowers the entire platform down to the ground. Although I have accidentally managed to hide quite a few members of the party, so give me a second to just drop you down there, Ingvar.
Oh, there you go.
It's alright, there was a loading screen in between.
A little bit of a loading screen. It's fine.
Mass Effect style.
My man, yes.
There we go. Right. So, the entire party of interesting figures starts walking down the road before coming to what seems like the nearest taverns, the nearest tavern in the town, and barging straight through the door.
Anybody else see floating doors, or is that just my camera acting up?
Nope, that's normal.
I also see doors.
Yeah, I
You
see
see
doors and no
doors?
buildings.
If I'm
Because there
looking,
are
I
no
see doors
buildings.
before I walk into them.
You see doors because there are no buildings, because I've had to do a decent amount of building to get all of this stuff ready, and I didn't build the things that weren't particularly important, so don't worry about it.
Understandable.
I just thought it was just my camera acting up again.
Fair,
Low-
given your
low
experiences.
priority on the game end, but
Hey,
Understandable. I get it, Tori.
hey. Are we following our intrepid friends over there, or?
I get.
It doesn't-
It's not like we have somewhere better to go.
well, we
Could do with finding a guardhouse at some point, but that's about it, really.
I feel like I'm missing some context. A godhouse?
No, guard. Guard. It's the accent. Sorry, it's a bit thick. It's to, pardon me, just to gather some information. That's all.
I mean, we've got some time. We've got some time to burn, I guess. I mean, I'm
We've
frankly
got
quite lost, so I'm just going along with you
Well,
all.
I think we found the pub.
Good.
You never
Best
go
source
wrong
of
with that.
information There really is.
Right, what are all of you doing? You have arrived in the town of North Crackstead. You probably have, from what you have gathered information-wise from the rather loud shouting of these various members of this troop, that the airship to the other side of the chasm, which leads to the road to Farrenholm, is probably not going to be here for at least a day or two. So you have about 2 days in this town and the surrounding area to find something to do, basically.
Shore leave, Ark. Excellent.
Is that a magic shop? Yeah.
I wanted to ask, do you guys know how one would deal with? Is there anything I could go for help with lost memories? I don't know, priest? Would a priest be? Would you go to a priest for that?
Priest,
That
alchemist.
sounds like a curse.
Holy! Should I go to the priest that's inside there? He seemed to be happy. He
Not
seemed to
that
be
one.
happy to help. Oh. All right. Does this town have a cathedral, a church? I forgot the term for it.
Probably ask around. Most towns will have some form of place of worship for one deity or another. It definitely wouldn't be too hard to ask around to see if you can find it.
I'll come along as well. Need to find the guards in the post office anyway.
Post
All right, we'll make it a trip. You want to go grab ice cream too? It's a bit cold for that.
Yeah,
Coffee?
just a bit.
I would like this ice cream too. Can I tag along?
Oh, so welcome to.
More the merrier.
On that note,
There's a
Isaac,
weird,
what
there's a
kind of
weird shop over
information are
there
you
below
looking for?
in windows. I'm gonna check that out.
Okay, there were like 3 people talking at once. What?
Apologies.
I don't know about Isaac, but I'm just looking to see if I can get back some memories, if possible.
Interesting.
And Darren?
Well, there's some weird lights glowing from one of the shops down the road. I might give that a look.
Do you
Alright.
mind if I tag along with you there, Darren? I'm
By
rather
all means.
curious.
All right, so at this point we've run out of party members. It's just all of us are going around now. Could somebody hitch the donkey to something, please? Or find somewhere to park.
I'll
guess-
keep an eye on Horace for the time being.
All right.
I'm imagining Ingvar's just got a hold of its rope at the minute.
Okay, so
Yeah, but Horace's legs are going to get
Horace and
tired.
the librarian are going in one direction, and Darren and Ingvar are going in another. So we're splitting the party. This is fine. Okay.
Come back to the
let's-
town on fire.
We're not a homogenous blob that goes around, Lucian.
I'm aware. I'm just trying to think of the marching order, basically.
It's time to make mitosis occur.
Okay.
Oh, Christ.
So, what are you three looking for first, Horace?
Don't lead with Horace. Both parties have a Horace.
That is a good point.
Oh, God.
What are you guys doing first?
Banditry.
What are you looking for first?
Well, it was really, I guess, going to depend group dynamic wise of who's like pushing most for their thing. So as far as I can tell, our Horace seems to be the most pressing out of them.
Okay, so you're looking for some sort of temple, church, place of godly worship, etc.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Okay. Roll me a quick investigation. Horace.
You got it. Let me. Okay, investigation, my specialty. Now watch me not one. Oh, 24!
Okay.
Jesus.
You ask around briefly, and most people that you talk to tell you about the Temple of Invictus, which is down the eastern end of the town. Take a right, and you should see the doors basically carved into the rock wall. And something that you've noticed about the entirety of the town of North Kragstead is that the entire town, what at first glance you would assumed it was just in a cavern because of the elevator down, is actually in a form of very deep ravine that has walls that curve up above parts of the houses. But there's one great big chasm right down the middle of the town that lets in sunlight. So yeah, the most of the townspeople sort of point in that direction that there is a temple to Invictus down that end of the town. Would you like to head there?
Yes.
Quickly drag you all along.
New.
So as you turn the corner, you pass by a large warehouse-looking building, a couple of shops, what looks to be a tavern maybe. You turn the corner, and at the end of the road, you see a pair of large double doors and what looks to be a small courtyard at the end of the road. In this courtyard, as you approach, you see a rather tall, balding man. In his early 80s, you would think, human, with what looks to be some form of mechanical device attached to one shoulder and sitting next to his ear. He's holding what look to be some form of smithing tools in one hand and a big metal slab in the other. And he looks up at you as you approach and goes, hold it. The church, the temple, need to get used to that. Temple of Invict is not accepting visitors today, I am afraid. You will have to come back after we have dealt with some routine maintenance. I apologize for anything that you might be wishing to deal with, but unfortunately, we can't. We probably can't help you at this time. Yes, but I'm say something about that.
How long would do you imagine this would take?
The man sort of scratches his head as he says this, and you watch as the claw that is sitting on his shoulder kind of swings a little bit, and you also notice that the man has what at first you had thought was just like a monocle is actually embedded in his eye is a metal eyepiece with like engraved glass in it. And he, as he scratches his head, he goes, well, we have to repair the bridge, and we have to deal with the infestation, and then we have to bring some new barracks in. We are not sure how long it will take. I'm terribly sorry, my friend. If there's anything I can help with, but unfortunately access to the temple is strictly prohibited.
Well, would there be any way we could help? Is this an infestation of sorts, or any way a group of I don't know. Anyway, we can help.
The man looks you up and down for a moment, and then goes, well, do you have any idea how to handle monsters of any sort?
I look at Isaac. I imagine that would be our specialty.
Oh yes, at the moment many sections of the library are overrun, so I am quite well versed in dealing with them.
Oh, well,
Seems the other two just spoke for us.
that would be very, I would be much appreciative of any services that you could assist us with. Unfortunately, the temple has been overrun for quite some time, and I am one of the first people to actually have been able to come out here to deal with the problem.
I was going to say you did seem a little short-staffed, as it were.
Yes, well, it has been a while since the last member of the Temple of Invict was out here. But we are slowly growing the church's numbers once again. Temple's numbers once again. Sorry. Still
Didn't hear a thing. Don't worry about it.
get used to it. But yes, no. If are there only 3 of you? That seems a little short on numbers.
We've got a couple more on a donkey who are out looking for some of their own information. We'd probably be coming back later if that's all right by you.
Oh, well, I'm not in a rush to get back in there. It's a little, and as he says this, he rolls up the sleeve, and you notice a very large gash that has been tightly bandaged, but is very much still bleeding, on one of his arms. So, yeah.
Ooh.
Probably a slightly more tactful response would be, it seems like you've been in the wars somewhat. Do we have any idea what you're dealing with in there?
Well, as you may know, the Temple of Invict deals in. Are you actually stepping forward, Isaac?
To a conversational point, yeah.
Okay. Are you actually stepping forward, though?
Well, otherwise we're having a conversation at about, what is this, like 30 feet apart?
Hello, friend!
About 15 feet apart, actually. Okay. As he's saying this, and as you step forward, his eyes widen for a moment, and then he goes, "No, don't stay," and you step. And for a moment, nothing happens. And then you feel the ground underneath you rumble slightly. And I would like you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I'll open mic as I roll the thing so that we can all hear the clonkadonk. We've got to get the clonkadonk.
Everybody loves the clonkadonk.
Okay, so the clonkadonk gives us a 14, and my dex save is not great, if I recall. Yeah, so a 15 total.
50. Ooh. As you step onto the relatively what you had at first thought was just like cobblestones, relatively unstable cobblestones apparently, as they all just fall away, or rather retract into the floor and into the walls. The whole thing
Minecraft tech.
slides out of view, exposing a massive pit filled with spikes and rather not very well-looking bodies and a couple of skeletons. And you
Is there a
realize
shark, though?
There is no shark. There are a lot of spikes, though. And you realize a second later, Invict is known as the god of knowledge, invention, and trickery. And you catch yourself on the edge, just about before falling backwards onto your ass as the floor rumbles away underneath the flagstones behind the man on the other side of the pit. You manage to catch yourself just before falling into the pit. The pit stays open for about 15 seconds, and then proceeds to slide closed again. And the man on the other side sort of wipes his brow for a second and goes, "Oh, you had me worried there for a moment."
You might want to set up a flag or something.
Isn't this supposed to be a public temple?
I feel
I
like this
think
breaks several safety standards.
No, it'll be set to that once they're in lockdown mode.
Yes,
Wow.
the temples of Invict have safety measures. A lot of them have been updated, but this is one of the older ones, and well, it's a little more deadly than our newer designs these days.
You updated them to make them less deadly.
Well, yes, we got complaints.
Oh,
a few hundred
right.
years ago, from the people.
Yeah.
I presume from family members.
Well, yes, from the people who survived as well.
Yeah, death and injury is a lot of paperwork.
Yes. Yes. We've had to go through some of the temples that are in more public spaces and remove the traps like this. This is what I was here to do actually before our clerics arrived, but unfortunately the infestation has made deactivating the trap rather difficult.
Would we have heard the noise from that trap from over here?
No, you guys are
No.
very
We're
far
like
away
a city
at this
block
point.
away.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought I'd just ask.
Yeah, no, you
It's
guys
subtle
are
trapdoor ever.
like quite far away, like well over 100 feet. So, yeah.
Although on the subject, I think we're, I don't know about the other lads, I think we're pretty fair to shift camera angles, as it were.
Yeah. Well, I'll quickly finish up on what this gentleman was telling you. and he sort of goes, I can temporarily deactivate the trap, but to actually permanently shut it down, I need to actually get into the temple. And unfortunately, what's in there is particularly nasty, especially against someone like me, when I have metal all over me. And whatever is in there really likes metal for some reason.
Oh no.
But
Permission
we're
to
going quickly
flick a little bit through his book while the camera flashes away. He's just
to
flicking through his
Darren
notepad.
And Ingvar. Darren and Ingvar, you two spied a small shop on the corner street with a glowing purple crystal hanging next to a sign. And the sign, as you approach, reads Ekron's Wondrous Emporium. And it's a relatively small building. It doesn't seem to have too much going for it, but it's nice, it's quaint. What would you two like to do?
Can I just quickly identify what the crystal is in any way?
Sure. Roll me an Arcana check.
It's shiny.
8.
Just straight 8?
Just straight 8.
Okay.
Straight as Darren gets.
It's glowing. It's technically speaking, you have seen something similar before. This
I've lived
is
underground.
what is known as a piece of coalesced magic essence. It is a crystal that has been imbued with magical properties. You've never seen one in purple before, but they're not overly uncommon. They are a bit rarer in the lower circles, but among wizards and magic users in general, this is something that you would see in an arcane focus and stuff like that. In fact, there is one affixed to the pommel of Isaac's casting pistol, which you would have seen, although the crystal in his pistol is a deep jet black. So yeah. What would you two like to do?
I didn't know that they came in purple flavor.
Do you think it's worth going inside?
I mean, if they've got something like that just sort of hanging on display, I'm kind of curious what they have actually on the shelves.
That is a fair point. We might find something useful.
Is the door open, or do I have to knock?
The door is open, and you push it open with ease. As you enter the establishment, you find it cluttered with all manner of things. There are silken sheets on the walls, you see a variety of different books, you see a whip for some reason on one of the counters, a couple of interesting blades. There's a variety of different things, and behind the counter, holding in his hands what looks to be a very large spear, and actually apparently cleaning it with some sort of velvet cloth, is a winged being with a large beak and an appearance not unlike your Kenku friend, however, a lot bigger. And as he sees you, yes, I see the mule creeping in. We'll get to that in a minute. As the two of you enter, he looks up from this rather large polearm that he's holding and goes, Ah, my friends, welcome, welcome. I am Ekron. Welcome to Ekron's Wondrous Emporium. What can I do for you today? And he seems very excitable. And then he notices the donkey and goes, pets stay outside. And as he says this, the door slams shut in the donkey's face.
Oh, that's not very nice.
And then he turns to you again, Darren, and goes, What can I help you with today, my friend? What can I help you with?
Ingvar, do you have more specific curiosities than mine?
Sorry, I keep sneezing.
Try to do it away from the magical rocks.
Oh, sorry.
Back to boom.
Hello, he says. To stop. My brain just kind of disconnected there.
Oh.
He's wondering if he's got... I mean, Ingvar's not really much into magic or arcane or... He's more of a shoot first, ask later. But he's wondering if he's got some sort of... I was thinking, like... fancy enchanted arrows or poison arrows or... You know, something that's not just basic arrows.
The bird creature behind the desk sort of ponders this query for a moment and then goes, it's a matter of I might. And he rummages through some of the drawers in his counter and then pulls out a bundle of 6 arrows and then another bundle of 6 arrows. And as you look at these arrows, you notice that the tips of the arrows are different for each bundle. So the first bundle has the arrow tips are cobalt blue. In the second bundle, the arrow tips are a deep, sort of russet red. And he puts them down on the counter and he lays one hand over the top of the first set of arrows, the cobalt blue ones, and he goes, "These are lightning arrows. You will shock your enemies with them." And he pushes them aside, and then he puts his hand over the red ones. "And these, my friend, these are flame arrows. Scorch your enemies to cinders." And he pushes them aside again. And then he rummages through the counter and he pulls out a third set of 6. No, he pulls out a set of 3. And he puts these down. And he says, "These are my personal favorite. These are gold touch arrows." And you notice that the arrowheads are literally seemingly made of gold, engraved in runes and a slight glow to them. And he says, "Now don't touch the tips. If you touch the tips, your enemy will be quite literally turned to gold. Their entire body will be encased in gold. It is somewhat like the effect of a basilisk, except a lot shinier." And he kind of grins and he sets these arrows down on the counter as well and moves them to the side. He says, "I'm afraid I don't have anything else, but if any of these catches your fancy..."
I will admit they all catch my fancy.
Well, I'm sure we could come to a deal. There's a little glint in his eye as he says this. And he goes, "The lightning arrows are the cheapest of the bunch, as a matter of fact. They're a quick and dirty solution. The flame arrows will set you back a good 10 gold, I'm afraid. They're quite expensive. But these gold touch arrows are a little more pricey, I'm afraid. They are off my premium stock, they will set you back 50 gold apiece. 50 gold per arrow, I'm afraid. They are a very special item after all.
Would Ingvar have noticed the look in his eyes, do you think?
He's a salesman. He's going to try and get the best price he can. Ingvar's probably pretty aware of this, and this man is no exception. He's very much showmanship, as far as you can tell.
Well, I'm afraid I don't have quite the money for the gold-tipped arrows, but I would be interested in the other two sets.
The Ekron sort of not. I understand some of my wares are quite within some people's price range, and he sweeps his feathered arm across the countertop, and the gold touch arrows seemingly just vanish out of thin air. And he points to the other two. Well, the lightning arrows will run you 5 silver an arrow, or 2 gold and 5 silver for the long. And the flame arrows will run you 10 silver, 10 gold for the long.
I would be willing probably to offer 10 gold for both sets.
10 gold for both sets? You're trying to swindle me, my friend. It's 10 gold for the flame arrows. Alone. Well,
11?
perhaps you could persuade me to come down in price. Okay, so he's willing to negotiate. Roll me. What are you going to try to do to negotiate with?
Threaten him.
I don't think that's Ingvar's style somewhat.
You could intimidate, you could persuade, you could seduce. It is not recommended.
No. Probably
So-
try to persuade.
Okay. Roll me a persuasion.
I just realized that the intimidation would be, if you don't do what we say, we'll invite the donkey back in.
Nice rugs you got here. Be a shame if anyone was
That's
gently gnaw.
plus. Where's me stats going? Intimidation, that's just a straight 15.
I thought you said you were persuading.
Oh, persuade. I need a. It would still be a straight 15.
Do you need a cup of tea?
A straight 15, a cup of tea, and a thesaurus.
Okay. Ekron sort of looks at you owlishly. His eyes narrow a little bit, and then he goes, 11 gold and 5 silver.
And that's. I'm assuming that's the lowest he'd want to go for that.
Seems like it.
Yeah, that'll do. 11 and a half silver will. No, 11 gold and 5 silver will do.
Wonderful. We have a deal. And he puts out his hand to you. His taloned hand, and sort of makes a motion to shake.
He reaches forward and shakes the hand.
Okay. As you kind of pull away, the arrows are in your palm, and the arrows that were on the counter are gone. Apparently, this man is masterfully good with his hands.
Good lord.
You
with
may
it,
add 6 lightning arrows and 6 flame arrows to your repertoire. The lightning arrows do 1d8 lightning damage on top of your normal bow damage, and
Good
the
lord.
flame arrows do 2d6 flame damage on top of your normal bow damage.
I've got an paper. Sick. Right.
While you
And
write
while-
that down, Ekron turns to you, Darren, and says, "What about you, my young dwarf fellow? What can I get for you today?"
My interests are rather more open-ended, I'm afraid. I'm curious if you have anything in the region of... Let's call it metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis? Now that is a curious question. I had someone in here just the other day asking about the very same thing. Anything specific metamorphosis-wise? Obviously there's transmutation, transfiguration, shape-shifting, polymorphing. There's a lot of different magics that can achieve similar results, but not all of them are quite to some people's taste. Is there anything more specific that I can help you?
Let's go with long-term conversion of a creature into a different creature.
Ah. Interesting. And he strokes his ruffled feathers on his chin for a moment, and he goes, "Well, nothing that I would have in stock, mind you, but I have heard a few things. Obviously, there's the rumors of the histories. Don't take it personally, but I don't believe in all that junk. But the histories and the rumors of the first dragons, those are things that some people would say come under the line of true metamorphosis as well. Then we have ritual magical spells like true polymorph. Although very hard to get a hold of them, and very hard to actually create, as I've been informed. And at this point, probably very hard to find. There are temporary solutions. There is an orb of transmutation which allows the person to change themselves into a creature of one form or another for a limited time. There is an interesting ring that I came across in my travels, but I already sold away, I'm afraid, which would allow someone to take on the form of an eagle and soar across the skies. But it only lasts for 6 hours. There is, and he rummages through the counters, and then he pulls out a small scroll that looks maybe about 6 inches long, and like the scroll case itself is about 6 inches long. It's very small, but he rolls it out on the desk. He looks at it a moment and goes, "I got this a few years ago when I was looking through some dungeons in the eastern regions. I was hired, me and my sadly long dead party members were hired to clear out an infestation of rodents, but it was a very long time. He reminisces, and then he flattens out the scroll and he says, "This is a scroll of polymorph. Only works once, mind you, unless you have the kit to transcribe it into someone's spell book, but you don't look like a spellcaster, I'm afraid. No offense intended. This will allow the caster to become any creature that they have priorly seen for a period of 8 hours. Only works once, I'm afraid. It'll set you back about 5 gold, if you're wanting it.
I think I can stretch 5 gold.
Well then, we have a deal, my friend. And he once again...
What can you... What can you tell me about that orb you mentioned?
The orb of transmutation. Well, there are a few people that make them, but they're not very common. Most people don't have a use for them. There are varying levels of craftsmanship. I hear that there are some very good orbs of transmutation that can keep you in a specific form for up to 6 hours. But most orbs usually only last about 1. You have to maintain the orb on your person, and unfortunately some of these orbs have a chance, well, most of them are fine, some have a chance to break once the incantation ends, making them a bit of a one-use thing, I'm afraid.
Is that a guaranteed thing?
No, not always. As I said, some orbs of transmutation have better craftsmanship. But it is known to happen, unfortunately. Of course, I wouldn't sell such a debasing item, and I would not let my reputation be tarnished by such a thing. But I'm sure there's someone out there who does.
And you mentioned there was someone else asking along this kind of same line of inquiry. Can you describe them? Do you know their name? Anyway.
The man scratches his chin feathers again and kind of taps the counter for about 10 seconds and goes, it was a little while ago. Can't really recall.
Lucian, is this a would a few coins fix your memory kind of situation?
Seems to be.
Well, I'm not going to threaten him with donkey juice, so, that is... I'm just going to, like, loudly count my coin out onto the counter here, since I've just gotten this scroll. Well, that is such a shame. Let me see, 5, so 6, 7...
And then the Ekron, the bird creature, goes, you know, now that I think about it, there was, I believe, a man of, I think, elven descent, or at least half elves. He was inquiring very specifically about transmutation or transmogrification into creatures of a much larger size, by the sound of it. Though he kept his business very private for some reason. He was very, I'll say he was a very shifty looking fellow.
Do you know where he went?
Once
I might
someone
find him?
leaves the store, I don't keep track of them. Well, unless they owe me money.
Did this particular gentleman owe you some money? Could it be said that he has a debt unpaid?
I'm afraid not.
Surely he left a tip for your cordial service.
I'm afraid he did not. And
No.
besides, if I
Such a
wanted
travesty.
to keep track of someone like that, I would have made sure to do it before they left the shop.
Well, thank you for your time, I suppose. And thank you very much.
Ekron extends a hand once again to you.
If I find my way back here, I may find my way back to the store. And I shake that.
Nods. As you shake his hand, and you pull back, the scroll is in your hand. It seems... Actually, roll me an intelligence check real quick.
Jesus.
8. Okay, let me
8
see.
straight roll.
With modifier 8.
Okay, just straight 8.
Just straight 8.
You're not really sure where the item comes from, but it seems pretty real. Ekron sort of bows a little and then goes, well, since our business is concluded, and the door swings open.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
My pleasure. And remember, if you're ever looking for incredible items, or books, or magic beyond your wildest imagination, Ekron's Wondrous Emporium is just down the road.
We'll keep that in mind, thank you.
Okay.
Like a flop idol.
Right. The
How
two
is
of you
Lars?
exit the shop. And what would you like to do next?
Well, I just got handed a scroll by a personage of semi-suspicious character. I think I definitely want to have Isaac try and identify this before I do anything with it.
Do you want to go find the others then?
I suppose so. I think I heard a mysterious trapdoor sound over here at some point.
Okay.
That's one hell of a set of yes.
Well-
The
Things echo in the dark.
The two of you and the mule head down the road to see your three companions chatting amiably, or relatively amiably, with a man who looks like he's had a bit of a rough day. And that is where we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in about 5 minutes. Everybody go grab some snacks, grab a drink, and we'll see you in a moment.
All right. I'm gonna go grab some water.
No.
That wouldn't stop us, and you know it.
I know that wouldn't stop you, but still. Okay. We return. Right. Took a quick break, made sure that everyone was hydrated. Right. Ingvar, Darren, the two of you have met up with the rest of your party and an old man that none of you were asked the name of. And you are standing outside the doors to the Temple of Infinite. What are you all doing?
I guess I'm surveying the scene since I just got here.
Don't walk on that bit, and just points at the ground and the bit that he fell through.
Just keep your distance. Question.
It's a big hole.
Yeah, it's spiky hole as well.
Long story short, the temple here seems to have a bit of an infestation problem with what I'm really hoping is not rust monsters. And potential, how best to describe, chew toy for us for the next day when we've had a bit of a rest, something to kill some time, as it were.
Rust monster?
You really don't want to know.
No.
I would like to know.
In fact, I'm going to go and find a tavern very quickly.
That's a good idea. Librarian, why don't we follow Darren to the tavern? And then maybe if you get me drunk enough, I can tell you about Susan's experience with a rust monster.
Perfect. That sounds like a great idea.
Here's a couple of drinks. Didn't you want to go ask for something at the guardhouse?
Nope. Yes, I do, but I'm guessing that's on the way since this street kind of only goes in one direction at the moment.
There is one road.
That is
Congratulations.
Learning to count with the librarian.
Okay. So where are you guys going first?
We're hoping to reach the end of the road, first off.
I see beer in that building, so I'm presuming that's the tavern.
That's the beer building.
Yeah, don't go to the beer building. That's just the building for the beer.
Yeah, the end's the other building where you go in.
Exactly. Get with the program, Darren.
Why do we put up with this?
I have no idea.
All the fucking medieval signage is just a brewery.
Okay, yes, I love the idea that none of the signs actually have anything on them, so these buildings could be basically whatever we joke they are.
I mean, technically they could be. They're not.
If Lucian's
but
winging it,
technically they
winging
could.
it hard enough.
Yes. Which means they are.
Yeah, I'm guessing the tavern is the two-story building with the tables full of food.
I mean,
Where that other party went.
Yeah.
Or, wild idea here, guys, the town might have 2 taverns.
It's unheard of.
No,
Such
no.
riches.
That's too much alcohol for medieval times where they had so much to do.
And so much water, clean water to drink.
well, I mean, the building you are next to does seem to be some form of tavern.
Just more furniture is growing in this building by the moment.
The video
You
game
say
is
nothing.
populating.
I'm doing my best, alright?
Casita, is that you?
The video game has identified that there is a need for a tavern in the gameplay and is implementing it swiftly.
That's just
But yes.
implementing it swiftly.
Provided we don't end up standing here having a discussion, is this not a tavern for the next 10 minutes?
Can I roll perception for tavern?
It is a tavern. It is a tavern called the Rusty Pipe.
Rust! Oh no!
Oh god.
Oh boy,
Reminiscence.
rust.
I'm just wondering if that's a hot spring in the back.
We're
Fancy
already on the
tavern, I
shore
guess.
leave arc. We don't need to add hot spring to this as well.
When's the beach episode?
Oh my.
Oh yes.
Not for a while yet. We need to get through
Keyword, yes.
300 episodes before we hit the beach episode.
Can we at least get a muscly barbarian first, please? Or a paladin. I would also accept a charismatic paladin.
I mean,
We have no tank for it to be hot. Please help us.
I could bring in a timid paladin. I don't know how much help he'd be.
In a strange way, we do have a tank in the form of Horace.
Oh,
Yeah,
The
a glass tank.
when are we gonna have a fucking fan service scene with Horace?
Oh God Almighty!
Yes, the Horus striptease.
Hee-ho.
And these are his primary feathers.
Takes off the cowl and just crows like a fucking rooster.
Okay. The five of you enter a tavern. Well, it seems to be some sort of inn, actually. It is called the Rusty Pipe. It is actually situated next to a building that you can only assume is the town's water storage. As you can see, pipes leading down from what looks like an aqueduct above it. The innkeeper inside looks to be a relatively surly old man who's currently polishing a couple of mugs and going over some books. And the tavern itself is relatively empty at this point. It seems like a relatively early point in the afternoon, not many people around. And he turns to you all and goes, well, what can I get you?
Given our proximity, I'm going to request a water from this fine establishment and pray it's safe to drink.
The man squints at you and then grabs what looks like a relatively clean mug and just fills it full of water from a barrel behind him and puts it down on the counter. And then he goes, well, what about the rest of you?
You wouldn't happen to have any rum?
Rum? Yeah,
Yes.
we've got some rum.
Yeah, I'll just have a bit of rum. Do love me something sweet.
Well, it ain't that sweet. And he pours a small glass of rum and pushes it across the counter. What about you? He points to Ingvar.
I'll take a beer if you have.
Beer? Alright.
Yep.
And he puts down a relatively hefty stein of beer. And then he points to Isaac and
It's impressive, given he's not in the building.
yeah, I was gonna say, Isaac, are you actually in the building or have you gone off to do something else?
Yeah, I've gone off to find, ask around and try and find the guards post or the post office.
Okay, that's fine. We'll get to that in a moment then. And he points to
This was a
the
ruse.
librarian and goes, and what about you, my friend? What do you want?
I would like this town's regional drink, the finest one. If you
Regional
get
drink?
that.
What do you mean by that? You mean the house drink?
Oh yes, the house drink.
House drink.
Whatever is most popular.
Alright then. And he turns around and pulls down what looks like a relatively small keg. That has a cork in it. He pulls out the cork, picks up a mug, and pours what looks to be a very thick, reddish liquid into the cup. And puts
As the librarian's watching this is kind of placid. Customer service smile is going a little less smiley, and I immediately start ritual casting Purify Food and Drink.
Are you actually casting that?
Yep.
Okay. He stoppers.
10 minutes later.
He stoppers the thing, puts the keg back up on the wall, and hands you the cup and says, "That'll be 6 silver for the lot of you."
Oh, where's Isaac? He's usually the one that carries the money.
Isaac is not in the
Oh. Shit.
That's quite all right. I'll pay the 6. I've got enough to cover.
Why
All right,
thank you so much.
Thank
Why
you.
did I immediately think of Magic the Gathering when you said I'll pay the 6?
Librarian, what is... I need to very quickly check something. Because I need to check the effect.
That needs to be 7.
of
Oop.
I think it just removes any poisons or whatever.
It
removes the
turns
alcohol.
out it's
I want
Yeah.
to
infested
know
with
the
botulism.
exact effect. All non-magical food and drink within a 5-foot radius sphere centered on a point of your choice within range is purified and rendered free of poison and disease.
And that's going to take 10 minutes.
Yep.
Poison and
Just
disease
casting.
mentions nothing about horrific parasites, does it?
What if the horrific parasites were going to cause a disease, though?
Yeah, I feel like parasites are under disease.
Okay, then they're the most like incredibly healthy mosquito larvae you've ever seen.
Hey, Cam.
You've just got some really probiotic booze there.
This is kombucha.
I mean, this doesn't help, but the fact that I was reading about the bubonic plague today out of boredom.
Okay, so you're gonna ritual cast purify.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that'll take you about 10 minutes. After you're done, the drink retains the reddish color in it. It's a bit lighter red now, and the liquid isn't as viscous. Would you like to try and drink it?
I would love to try and drink it.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Huh? Okay. Just a con save. That is a 9.
Okay. You sip gently at this drink. It's actually quite sweet. Very sweet, actually. It's very alcoholic. In fact, it's incredibly alcoholic. A lot more alcoholic than you expected. Your vision starts to swim a little, and you realize this is the first alcoholic drink you've had in a very long time.
Oh dear.
And
Oh no.
something about this is making your head swim a bit.
He's swimming.
And
That is a lovely drink.
a second later, you feel something rise in your throat.
Do I
Oh,
have
no.
Okay.
And then you hit.
I'm gonna say, does Igbo need to protect his eyebrows?
In the meanwhile, Isaac, roll me an investigation check.
Working on it. Need to find the fucking skills. I'm done with this Roll20 sheet. I'm just pulling up the PDF. There we go. Okay. That is a dirty 20.
Okay.
Ooh.
You ask around a little bit. You ask around a couple of people in town, asking if they have a guardhouse anywhere nearby, if there's a post office. A couple of people direct you down the street from where you are at the moment. Take the second left and then head down the end. And that is where the guardhouse is located. It is a relatively squat-looking building, not much in it. There's a big iron door, which is open, as a matter of fact. What seems to be a relatively small guardhouse at this end of the city. It seems to be the only one that the city, well, the town, realistically, really needs.
Along the way, he is going to be quite animatedly chatting to Horace. I just want this known. Just sort of like just while walking along. Just, what do you think, Horace? Do you think they've noticed yet? Nah, we probably lost them.
Oh, the mute. Oh, right.
Yes,
the mule! I was very confused.
Yes, the mule.
I caused this. I did this.
You did
Yes,
do
You
this.
did.
you did
This is your
this to
fault,
yourself.
Horace. And not the mule Horace. The other Horace.
Oh god.
Actually, that is a good question. Librarian, are you going to inquire as to the name of this drink?
Yes.
Okay. The name of this drink, regionally known, or well,
Horace.
the house special, if you will, it is known as rust wine. Okay. Back to Ed. Back to Isaac. What are you doing?
Firstly, seeing if there's, sorry, itchy beard. Is there? I know we haven't really like done any kind of rulings on it, but what are the sort of rulings for where one can park a donkey? Do we have to keep finding specific places to hitch them, or can we just like park them somewhere while we have a scene?
Well,
your story, Neil Bob?
donkeys. It's kind of weird because most like horse-type creatures are usually stabled up in a stable, and people, unless people are actively transporting goods around the cities, that's where they stay for the duration of the time that someone is in a city or a town. Donkeys are smaller. Your donkey, in specifics, is especially small, as a matter of fact. But people have been giving you a bit of a weird look when you're walking around leading a small donkey. But people have been perfectly happy to just like let you leave it outside a building while you go in. As long as the donkey doesn't rampage off and kick a child, it seems to be fine.
Yeah, fair. It was more of a sort of table ruling kind of question of like, do we have to keep specifying that we are hitching it, or are we just parking it?
If you leave it outside, someone might come along and steal it, but that's the risk you take.
Indeed,
Oh,
and thankfully the
stick.
door is open, so we can have a good old eyesight line. So indicates to donkey to sort of hang out around here. I need to keep remembering to hold V. It's weird. Sorry. And makes his way inside. Cautiously, of course, so checking he's welcome, obviously.
Okay. Behind the counter of the guardhouse, which is a nice big counter, is what looks to be a younger guardsman sitting at the desk, writing in what appears to be a relatively big notebook of some sort. And he looks up as you enter and he says, what can I do for you today, sir? Anything the guard can help you with?
Just two pieces of information, particularly. One, and rummages around in the bag and just sort of pops out the missive with its little seal on it. It's like, I have a missive. I believe it's to deliver to here, but honestly, I'm stunned. It's been on the road too long at this point. I was wondering if this seal meant anything to you.
The guard... Okay, give me a second. The guard takes a hold of the seal, takes a hold of the missive, looks at it and goes, sorry friend, I can't help you. Well, it looks like this seal is from one of those hoity-toity people in Fahrenheit, but that's as much as I can tell you, I'm afraid.
No, that's a huge help. Thank you very much, pal. It's always important to know who you're working with.
Just as a DM note, the missive was meant to be delivered to Fahrenheit, not to North.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to know what the symbol was about.
That's fine. This
And
guard
usually trying to deal with people who deal with crim-crims lets
Yeah.
me know if it's a crim-crim symbol.
Yeah, no. This guard is relatively young, and the seal on the missive that you have is made out of inlaid silver with small pieces of platinum. It doesn't look like a criminal's, basically.
Fair. Well, that's stuff that we can figure out at the time. Sorry about that. It's
No, it's fine,
as
it's
we
fine.
discussed earlier. There wasn't too much description given at the time because I think we were trying to wrap it early.
Yeah.
But it can't help to Columbo a bit.
No, don't fight.
And then the other question would be, this is always a weird one. Do you have any form of messaging station, post office? Tends to vary up and down the country. What do you call it? Communication station where one could communicate to further afield. Preferably a little bit faster than just waiting on the airship.
The young man kind of scratches his chin for a moment, puts down his writing quill, and goes, well, there is a postal station just down the road, but as for whether it'll be faster than the airship, the answer is probably no, because, well, the postal system goes by the airship, so...
Fair enough.
Figure out
Some
about
operate
that,
those
right?
newfangled bird systems, so I wasn't sure if be waiting on the ship or not.
I'm afraid not, my friend, and, unfortunately, the birds still get lost every now and again.
Well, nothing has changed then in the last few years. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to meet you. I didn't catch your name, by the way.
Oh, I'm Jethro. Jethro Horn. I'm one of the younger guards here. Quite new, so I'm behind the
Indeed.
desk a lot of the time.
Indeed. Didn't seem to be that many of you when I was checking around. Heard you got a bit of an infestation down in the temple sort of way.
Yes. Well, I heard that a couple of the guards went to check it out and came back with bites and scratches all over their armor. Haven't really heard much more than that. But well, if there's any rumors going around, please do let me know. I'd be interested to hear some more news on that.
Oh, of course. The only question I'd have for yourself, sorry, for some context, my compatriots and I are planning to offer a little bit of assistance to the temple. Just wanted to question, you mentioned there were gashes and stuff on their armor. They didn't happen to look rusty at all, did they?
Rusty? I mean, I'll be honest, most of our equipment isn't in that great nick these days.
Worse nick than usual, though.
Well, I mean, some of them had massive bites taken out of their armor. But other than that, I'm not really sure.
Not to worry about. You're just helping me piece together a few clues. Thank you very much for your time, Jethro, and I'll probably leave you be now.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, and goodbye.
Oh, and stay safe out there, okay? It's
I'm
not a
sure
job
I
where
will.
people tend to get old.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you. Also, real quick, thank you to Kathy for throwing 69 pounds at me.
Nice.
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 I don't have my, because it's a D&D thing, I don't have any of my stream notifications running at the moment. But yes, it did come through, Kathy. So thank you for throwing 69 pounds at me. That is most appreciated.
Should have done it for the food, like
Yeah. But yeah.
69 pounds worth of pizza shows up at your door.
Ouch.
That is
yes,
three
thank
Or
you.
worse, 69 pounds of pizza shows up at your door.
Yes, 69
Oh.
pounds of pizza.
Oh.
That's a lot of pounds of pizza.
I'll see you through winter.
Well, it'll go moldy before then. Ugh.
Moldy pizza,
Yeah,
no.
Thank you very much, Kathy. That is much appreciated. Much appreciated. I need to set up some silent notifications for D&D stream stuff. I haven't done that yet. I thought
Could do it like
60
that.
shopping was appropriate. Fair enough. All right. Onwards, Ed. Where are you headed next?
We're just gonna surreptitiously head back to the bar, basically.
Okay.
While
as-
Noir monologuing to Horace the whole way.
Fair enough. As you do that, what are the four of you doing in the bar?
Well, Ingvar's probably just slowly draining the bar of its beer supply.
Okay.
The librarian is playing. Me and the librarian are playing a fun game called "Are You Cursed?"
Interesting.
He's identifying me apparently.
Is that where you tack a little piece of parchment to your forehead and you try and identify what curse you are through yes or no questions?
Yes.
Oh, good
Definitely
God.
that. And also you cast Identify at the same time, so I can tell if the spell is being cast on Horace.
Wait, you have identified? Why did people say they needed to take shit to Isaac?
I
No
didn't
idea.
know this. And also, we've known the librarian for like less than a day.
Yup.
You've known me longer and no, I don't have identify.
Okay, librarian, are you actually ritual casting Identify on Horace?
100% yes, I pre-texted it with RP chat.
Right? Can I?
Okay.
I'm.
Um,
If I see this, would I know what you're doing?
Let me look at the components
Like,
to see if you would.
You'll have a fair. It'll take a fair while, so I imagine I more or less have time to take 10 on it.
Intense staring for like 10 full minutes. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, technically we're just chatting while
Thank you very
Horace's hand is on my index, so...
put a decent
Yeah.
amount of work
Let's see, verbal, somatic, and material. So yeah, you would see that I'm doing some
Yeah,
kind of
see,
gesturing
I
and
know you're
speaking.
casting something. Is there any way I could know what you're casting?
Cast Identify, am I identified?
Roll me an Arcana check, Darren.
Oh no, here we go again.
Since I know
Well,
identify
Roll me an
with
intelligence check.
Oh, this one's. Those are the same stats.
Yeah, in fact, they might even have advantage on Arcana.
12. That is literally the highest I've rolled all day.
Good lord.
It's not an uncommon spell to see cast. Although the method that the librarian is using to cast it is unfamiliar, the spell itself you are familiar with. It's the librarian is casting it in a way that you've never seen it cast before. Probably quite a different way to how it would be cast in the current day and age. But you do recognize that the librarian is casting an identification spell. You've seen it done before.
Right.
It's
On the
not-
balance that Isaac isn't currently here, then I'm just going to like tap the librarian on the shoulder with the scroll and say, "While you're at that, could you have a look at this?"
Sure. That sounds like a good time, yes. I am drunk though, so bear that in mind.
Well, try not to drip on it. It might be very valuable, or it could be completely garbage. That's why.
Perfect, so anything in between.
Okay.
Well, if it is garbage, maybe I can fob it back off the guy that sold me.
Right,
Okay, so are you casting Identify?
yep.
Ritual casting, correct?
Yeah, ritual casting because it takes 10 minutes, so it doesn't burn a spell slot. My precious, precious spell slots.
Okay. Okay, so very quickly, you ritual cast Identify on Horace. Nothing seems, no sort of spell, as far as you can tell, seems to be affecting him.
Okay.
Next up, you ritual cast Identify on the scroll. It is in fact a scroll of polymorph. So, very quickly, when used, this scroll will, and it is a one-use scroll. It will last for 8 hours, and the scroll will allow you to turn into a creature that you have seen before. So you need to have seen the creature before to actually use this scroll to turn into that creature. And it will only last for 8 hours. And once it's used, and the scroll is done. You can copy the scroll into a spell book, but it will use up the scroll in the process.
Copying a scroll uses up the scroll?
Yes, copying a scroll uses up the scroll.
It's like those
Because you're
puzzle
essentially-
tabletop games.
Essentially, the way it works is while you're copying it, you're also casting it into your spellbook. You're
Okay.
using magic to transfer the scroll from a one-use item into a preparation item.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. You can then copy the spell from your spellbook into another scroll, but it will take up resources. And it will stay in your spellbook. It is possible, it takes a while.
Does copying it into a spellbook cost anything?
Yes, it does. So
Yeah.
in order to copy it
Okay.
into a spellbook, you will need ink.
50 golden materials?
You will need golden materials. Essentially, you will need the ink equivalent to a certain amount of gold to copy it over, basically.
Okay.
And depending on the spell level, depends on the type of ink you need. And I have a list of that sort of thing if you need it.
Oh. Yeah, since I'm playing a wizard, I might actually need that, so if you could send that to me whenever you get the chance.
I have it on side. If you actually want to use it at some point, I will then send it to you because there's a few things in there that might be a little spoilery. Don't worry about it.
Of course, Lucian has a list of artisanal inks on for the universe.
I mean, one of it's unicorn's blood ink, so you know.
Ah,
Have
fair.
fun with that.
Well, that's just a classic of the genre. of
When can I
course.
subclass into calligraphy?
yes.
Scribe.
But yeah, this, as I said before, this is a scroll of polymorph. It works pretty much as the polymorph spell would, but it only lasts for 8 hours. At most. It is not concentration, though, so that's one thing.
Nice.
Do you share that with everybody?
Yeah, I relay that as best I can, but because I am drunk, it comes across instead of scroll of polymorph as polyforth.
Scroll of polymorph.
Yes, a scroll of polyforth, a very powerful spell.
Not many of these exist. In fact, this is the only one I've seen.
That's not saying very much, I fear. I will retrieve my scroll.
Get him drunk enough, he'll see two of them.
Actually, Darren, if you don't mind, like when we get the money for it, I could copy the scroll into my spellbook if that's all right with you in the future.
If it lasts that long, we'll see.
All right.
I should note, when you copy the spell into your spellbook, it will become just a standard polymorph spell. So it won't be quite the same effect as the scroll has. The scroll has alterations because it is a scroll, essentially.
What? Like the fact that it will be concentration, I'm guessing?
Yes, if you
Right.
have it in your spellbook, it will be a concentration spell, essentially. So, yeah, bear that in mind. Right. What are the rest of you doing? You have the evening to prepare for your encounter in tomorrow if you choose to go against whatever is behind those doors.
Could I use construct operator?
Yeah, what would you like to do?
I would like to create an observer to scout out the temple.
Yes, you could definitely do that. Let me very quickly. Okay. So let me very quickly check my wording on this.
Oh no.
Because I need to make sure that I'm getting this right. Let's see. General. Tabletop. Patron. I need to make sure. Okay, starting. Okay. What is your warlock level?
Let me check. 2.
Okay. So this observer will last for 1 hour. So you essentially get 1 hour to use as you see fit for this creature. It's a construct, but you know.
Just a little guy.
I will quickly grab this because I don't have a mini for it really, and I will make it really small.
Is there a pigeon model?
There might be, but I'm not using it.
Uh-oh.
I will click place color green. Green is ally. Player permission. Sorry. Okay. So that is your observer. And the 4 of you, 4 others watch. Isaac, you managed to get back around about this point in time. You watch as the librarian, sitting in his chair, mildly drunkenly, sort of traces a couple of patterns in the air. For a moment, nothing happens, and then the pattern that he traced, it's sort of like this geometric eye, glows this golden purplish light, and a small spherical portal appears, and what looks like a kind of like a tiny rat, but with 10 legs and large bulbous eyes, completely made of metal, sort of steps out of the portal and onto the librarian's hand. And the librarian puts it down on the floor, and you watch as it skitters away out the door that you just came in.
The fuck was that?
Oh, don't worry, I'm just devastating the local ecosystem with a new apex predator.
Ah, of course.
Perfect.
Okay, so with concentration, you will be able to see what the observer sees, librarian. However, while you are concentrating on the observer, you will not be able to see or hear anything that is going around your physical body. So you will be able to feel if something touches you. What was that, Darren?
I vaguely recall it being which senses are currently being used via the observer is an optional thing. You can choose which ones.
The observer is
at a
my
given
own
time.
creation, so
I see, right.
the observer, and this is something very brief, the observer is part of a homebrew patron called the Wandering Library.
Right.
There is a lot
So here,
of detail
for
that
this
has
thing,
been
it's all
put
or
into
nothing.
this.
Gotcha.
Don't worry about it. I do know what I'm doing with this. I'm just making sure that I have it right from my own notes.
So, question. Could we tell that he's like basically currently desensitized to the world?
As you watch the observer scurry out the door, you see the Actually, roll me a perception check, real quick.
Would we say it's an Arcana check?
No, it's a perception check.
Shit. 10.
10. this isn't hard to see. You look at the librarian's eyes, and where they were before, like, sort of a bright blue, you see them fade into a kind of greyish colour. It's as if he's gone slightly blind.
Oh shit, the alcohol must be hitting him hard. Well, only one thing to do now. I'm going to draw a monocle and a mustache on his face.
Okay.
And that is all.
As you're watching through the observer, concentrating on the observer as it skitters through the streets towards the temple librarian, you feel something dusty on the skin around your face. You feel what feels like charcoal as something scrapes across your face and around your eye and over just under your nose on your lips. Are you going to do anything?
Can I, like, rub my face?
You can speak and you can move, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is someone touching my face right now?
No?
Wonderful. I'll be back in an hour.
Okay. Right.
Right. I guess I can go into the...
Okay, so the observer skitters up to the entrance to the temple of Invictus. What would you like to do?
I would like to enter the Temple of Invict.
Okay, so currently the doors are sealed shut. Roll me a perception check with +6 for the observer's perception.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's a spy bot, basically. It has a really good perception.
Do I roll... Okay, so I roll just a d20
Roll
for
a
that
20,
+6.
and then add 6.
Okay, that is a 9 + 6, 15.
15. Okay. The walls to the Temple of Invict are pretty solid from what you can see, but as you're looking around with your little observer vision, it highlights a small hole in the upper section of one of the arches. Maybe about half a foot wide, but big enough for the observer to fit. Okay. So
Scamper on up.
around about here. Okay. What you look into is a relatively large atrium of the temple. It's somewhat dilapidated, very much old, not very well kept. You look around and you see two bug-like creatures with russet red coats and waving antennae crawling about the floor. They seem to be scavenging on some sort of metallic compound, pieces of armor, bits of gearing, old metal plates and bars that they're slowly eating away at. Quite literally, in fact.
Huh. Have they noticed the observer at all?
They have not. You're at the moment you're about 20 feet up, and they're on the floor.
Okay. Is there anything else aside from these creatures that I can see that might be useful, like chests, things they haven't gotten to yet?
In the atrium itself, there's a couple of splintered wooden boards and debris. Things that might have once been chests, but nothing that's particularly major. Nothing that would be currently like put together, essentially.
Can I do a perception check to see if there is something that the priest did not tell us about for this job? Like, if there's anything more than just these rust creatures in here?
Yeah, roll me a perception. Bearing in mind that you can only really see the entrance.
That is a 16.
16. You see these two creatures, and the observer doesn't so much see as feel a slight vibration. What maybe is the footsteps of these creatures scurrying about the floor. Feels pretty heavy though. It's actually almost audible, like skittering steps.
Okay, I'm going to
Get scared.
dispel the observer and
Okay. The observer vanishes into the ether.
I would like to go and try and find Isaac.
Okay, Isaac is literally across the table from you. He literally
Fantastic.
just walked in.
I forgot he was back in the bar.
Well, in fairness, you were checked out at the time.
Yeah.
So
I
Isaac
want-
has just appeared, basically.
Well, hello, Isaac.
You blunk in
I would like to ask your opinion on something I've just seen. And I cast Minor Illusion to show the image of the creature that I witnessed through the observer to Isaac. Does this look familiar?
Lucian, can I get a re-describe of what he is making an image of, please?
The creature is a rust monster.
Oh.
It
Yep.
is
Thought I'd just check it
a-
through the lens of what Isaac would know. There we go.
Yeah. It is a 3 foot long, maybe, carapaced beetle-like creature with large inside, like large sort of grabby, like things in its mouth. It has big antennae. It has a curved, like crayfish-like tail, and 6 legs, and it looks gross.
Not again.
I'm guessing
I
that's
will
the...
presume you are acquainted.
Right. So, remember how I said that I was worried it was a rust monster or conglom of rust monsters?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a rust monster.
Oh dear.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna cut Susan's storyline very short, but Susan discovered that if you hit them enough with normal metal, it kind of just breaks. Not the monster though, the metal. That's the problem. They just eat metal a lot of the time, and as you can expect in our business, quite a lot is metal. Thankfully, taps the casting pistol, these things technically magical. That, pointing at Darren's weapon hanging off his belt, not so much.
Yeah, we
What
tended
if
to
we-
just back home. Whenever one of those things shows up in the mines, we generally just collapse a tunnel on it. It takes us like 2 months to fix up.
I don't think collapsing a tunnel is an option right now for
Yeah,
this.
don't
Correct.
collapse a temple on things. That doesn't always work.
No, that would not be very good for the archives that we need either. Is drowning an option?
We've never tried.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you know, I don't think anyone's ever tried. All I
Yeah.
do know is they're pretty bloody fast. They're faster than you can usually, faster than you could usually run unless you were going at a dash, that's for sure.
Faster than you could run unless you had a rust monster behind you.
Exactly.
True, but you'd have to just have a rust monster behind you and be thinking about nothing else other than that there's a rust monster behind you. You'd have to dedicate your whole being to running for that 3 or 6 second span, as it were.
But if I would ask a question, can they tell if the weapon is magical?
They're
If the
usually
metal is
drawn
magical?
to it, that's how they find our caves.
Yeah, and they smell metal for God knows how far. It's like,
They can smell metal like a shark can smell blood.
yeah, so about 30 foot.
But are they repelled by magical metal smell?
Oh, they'll try and eat it anyways.
Yeah, they're not very smart.
Okay.
Literally, they are some of the dumbest things that I've ever come across.
If that's the case, then can't we use that to our advantage if we're trying to take care of them? Like, I don't know, maybe there's a blacksmith here who has some scrap metal we could borrow.
Well,
We
if
could
they've
use
got a
that-
feast going on in there, I don't think they're going to be interested in more metal until they're done with that.
While
I
we
mean-
were headed into town, there was quite a large surplus of metal ore by the storefront. We could maybe use that to lure them into the ocean and watch them
Ah.
die.
Organic, I see.
You think they'll drown by accident?
No, but we
Or just
could
walk
set
march into
something
the
up.
sea
Are
and
you-
just forget to breathe?
Are you planning to stand there on the edge individually booting them?
What? Wait. What if we utilize that trap? Basically, like, lay a trail of basically scrap metal to lure them outside into the pitfall you almost died in.
DM question. How metal did the trap appear to be?
It was mostly stone. The spikes at the bottom of the pit were metal. And it looks like the rails that the stone paving was mounted on that slid underneath the
the runners.
Those were metal as well.
So, good idea. Thank you for contributing, Horace. Small problem. The spikes at the bottom of the pit, pretty sure those were metal. Whatever sliding mechanism the stone was operating on, that's probably going to be metal. And also, if that doesn't work for about 10 seconds, you've then got rust monsters out and about in a populated area.
I
A
will say
populated area,
they
but I
don't.
should quickly
From
point
the
out,
s-
is known for refining ores into metal.
That's probably why it's here
Exactly.
in the first place. I will say, from the stories I've heard of these things in the mines and whatnot, it does take them an amount of time to destroy a metal object. It's not instantaneous. It's not going to turn into rust vapor the second it hits them.
Oh, no, but depending
If it
on the
doesn't
number of
die,
them, they
then we have
can
a
chew
problem,
pretty
yes,
fucking
but-
quick.
It should take quite a bit of pain.
Okay.
Like,
And then,
you'd be
and then I'm willing
talking...
to bet most of the area around that pit is stone.
You're talking like 5 good... How long it'd take for 5 good whacks with a mace is probably long enough for it to eat the mace.
Give or take.
And from the sounds of it, then our best option is to just beat them on the head until the carapace cracks. Whoa!
As the blood moon rises, apparently.
At this point, it's getting pretty late in the evening. It's probably about 12 hours before, like, 8 a.m.
We have been in this pub 12 hours.
No, you've been in this pub about 3 hours, but it was like early to late afternoon when you got in, essentially.
Can permission to, since I'm guessing we're sort of adding food and whatnot to this time skip, permission to order a small snack and go out and feed the donkey something that isn't stale for once. Because I feel that's the most humane thing this party has done in weeks.
Yeah, let me quickly bring up
You bring a good point. Now I feel bad, damn it.
Okay, so just a small meal, 3 silver and 5 copper. The
Cool.
bartender takes off of you, and he gives you a couple of carrots for the donkey.
Done.
Okay. So yeah, it's getting to like late evening at the moment. The tavern has filled up with a few people, but not many. It seems like it's a working night. Not many people come in at that point. You have about 12 hours before the morning. Enough time for a long rest. Enough time to do some short planning, but you'll probably need to figure something out within the next few hours.
Okay. So, we can't. Drowning them is an option, but doesn't sound like an easy option to achieve. Then what's... Frankly, I'm stumped.
I mean,
Have we
a lot of
considered
it's also
finding some non-metal weapons.
fair. Also, lots gonna depend on how many we're dealing with.
How many have we identified so far? Just the one?
I think it was 3, wasn't it?
So far, you've identified 2.
2 rust monsters and 1 something else.
2 rust monsters that you could see, and possibly a third. You're not 100% sure.
I think... Honestly, how bad is a single one of these?
Depends. How much metal are you wearing?
Well, Darren is wearing a lot, but aside from Darren,
I'm not wearing anything, but
What?
I'm not wearing any metal armor. But you know, the cutlery that I kind of use on a regular basis in such scraps like these will be scrapped quickly.
Yeah, and some of us taps the scale mail. Sorry, oh god, I can never remember. It's the breastplate. Yeah, that's it. Taps the breastplate and taps the shield. Some of us aren't exactly going to fare very well.
Ideally, we want to get these things in range, but they will quickly make it not range.
Very quickly.
Okay. I have a stupid idea. But that might be what we need right now. So, okay. Darren, do you have any good ranged attack options?
I did mention the cutlery, yes?
Have you considered flinging it at something?
I like this cutlery. I have nothing. I have no ranged weapons of any kind, no crossbows, no bows, nothing. And even if I did, I would not be doing very well with them.
I see. Then how about, since I am quite evasive, how's about we get ourselves some scrap metal from a blacksmith, from a nearby blacksmith. I cover myself in it and basically draw their attention while you guys attack them from a range.
Fair and possible strategy. Although I'm a little bit concerned that, librarian, you mentioned there was a something else.
Oh yes, something loud.
Yeah, that doesn't exactly fill me with joy at the sound of it.
Yeah. But I mean,
It's a start, and if a few hours go by and we can't think of anything more, and a few more rounds go by and I can't think of anything more, then I think we might as well.
If we want to use you as a distraction, I could create a protective barrier around you during that time if you want.
That helps.
That would be helpful. Yes.
And also, you mentioned that they can't eat the spikes at the bottom of the pit.
Not
No,
fast
they
enough.
can eat the spikes at the bottom of the pit because
Oh, but not instantly,
They'll,
yes.
they'll eat them, but not fast enough to not take damage from being falling into the pit.
What if they fell down and I cast gravity magic to speed that process up?
hang on a minute. I just need to. They don't have to be concentrating on the chewing. They just kind of ambiently chew.
Oh no, I know. I just meant more so when they were falling, just to smash.
Oh no,
them in there
when
really
when
good.
they fall and smash, fine. But just their bodies being down there is gonna start corroding the spikes pretty quickly.
Can they climb up vertical surfaces? Are they like fucking ants?
I have never stuck around long enough to find out.
So from what I gather, you're not a big fan of these things.
Well, Susan was the most heavily armored bastard I've ever worked with, and she really didn't come off too hot out of it all. In fact, came out quite cold on account of losing the whole armor situation.
I'm presuming these things are probably immune to acid then.
You're welcome to try. I mean, very few things in this world are immune to acid. Depends how strong the acid is.
Application of murderous force tends to kill most things. It's just a matter of whether we can, really.
So far we've got Horus, Gravity.
If one comes out, we can take that, I think. We'll probably need to buy a new tool afterwards, but we can probably take it. 2 comes out, it might be a stretch. If there's more than that, we're not going to have the equipment to kill them.
And main problem being that we want to do that before it gets out into the town proper.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get stuck in there with it as well because of the whole trap door situation. Yeah.
As the night wears on, it starts getting darker and darker. A lot of the patrons leave, and the man behind the bar goes, "Are you gonna stay the night, or am I gonna have to kick you out?"
There certainly are 2 options.
I mean, technically there's 3. There's this inn, kicked out, or try and throw ourselves on the mercy of the other ones down the road, but I think they might be a little angry that we shafted them.
I like this one.
It's a bit on the ramp side, but I think we can make it work.
The house
Those are
special
drinks.
is nice.
Yes.
All right,
Could I get another couple of carrots, if that's the case, please?
Sure, why not? The bartender grabs a couple of carrots, pulls down 2 keys from a rack behind him, slaps them on the wood, and says, "That'll be 6 silver for 2 rooms for the night. I'm sure you can find your way in." And he slaps the carrots down next to them, lifts up the big sort of trap door at the bar, and sort of exits the area. Apparently done serving drinks for the night. And it is getting pretty late.
All right. Just tosses a carrot to Darren. Let's find somewhere to hitch up Horus and set up for the night.
Oh, right. Something I figured out I can do. Light of God!
Holy shit!
Oh, yes.
Oh my
Spotlight.
god,
I can
I'm
put
so
Carol in a
sad we don't
spotlight.
have a bard. Oh,
Look, Horace is in the spotlight.
can you imagine having a freaking bard with a spotlight on them at all times?
It would be very
Every time they
funny.
cast
It
a
would
spell.
also be very draining.
God or to the or to you? Oh wait, same thing.
There is a hitching post around the corner of the tavern that you all managed to... Oh. Goodbye, Horace, and whoever was taking it.
Off to adventure.
I think we just wormholed through a wall.
Apparently.
Oh, they're in the alley.
There you go.
Thank you.
There's a hitching post in the alley that you hitch up Horace the mule to, and then you all depart off for your to your rooms. There are only two. One has 2 beds. One has 3. You manage to get a full night's rest. Ed, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay, and I also have a question once we're done with that bit. That's a 11 plus 5, so 16 type.
Okay. Your dreams are strange, crowded, filled with noise, filled with smoke, fire, blood. You see again the shattered visage of your home, claw marks across the door. You see again the falling hand of Gilk as he flies from the cliff. You run to the cliff edge. You look over. A hand raises and grabs you by the throat. You see the shredded, flaming visage of Gilk's face, half melted, fire spewing from one of his eye sockets, as the single word echoes through your mind. Revenge. You wake in a cold sweat, the morning light peering through what looks to be a skylight in your room, actually, peering through from the top of the ravine.
Actually, that lines up quite nicely with what I was going to ask. As a form of distraction after waking from the nightmare, could he spend some of the long rest time attempting to read some of the Book of the World?
Okay, yeah. What languages do you know?
All.
All? Just straight up all. How does that work? Wait.
Eyes of the Runekeeper.
Eyes of the
Yep.
Right, yes, thank you.
Oh.
Okay. So, you don't actually recognize what language this book is in, but you can read it. So, which page are you trying to read?
Well, there was that first very suspicious one with the obfuscated, self-obfuscating text, which we first discovered the whole touch ring to it goes through. So being familiar with that page, he's going to start with that one.
Okay, so you hold up the ring to the page. The page crystallizes over, turns this white crystalline sort of color, and text begins to appear on the page. It tells you about the ring. It tells you the properties of the ring. It gives you a basic idea of what it does. It tells you that there are components missing. It tells you that this ring is an artifact, is what's known as a diem artifact. So, diem as in D-I-E-M, as in godly, divine. This is known as the Ring of 7 Sins. It was crafted by Invicт, but the stones that are inset into it are made from the trapped souls of the representation of the most vile of these sins, essentially.
Okay, a bit more than last time. Nice.
Essentially, the way it works is the ring has 7 small insets in it. Each inset has a gem that would correspond to it. The vilest of the sinners' souls were crystallized into these tiny gems, and each one has a different effect. You don't know what each gem does because you do not have the gems. And in order to know what they do, you would have to bring them.
Are there any indications of what the gems look like or whatnot, that if anyone were to come across them, kind of thing?
There are 7 entries. Each one has a gem next to it, like a bullet point, basically. All of them are grayed out. One of them glows a faint up. You're not sure what it is.
All right, then.
Okay.
Well, not my weirdest nighttime reading, but sure.
You all wake up the next morning feeling relatively refreshed. All of your spells, all of your health is at full. Most of you feel pretty good about the day ahead of you. You head out of the inn into the street and head towards your target, where once again the priest, whose name you never caught, is standing in front of the gates, checking what looks to be a rather large clipboard at this point.
Does Ingvar need assistance?
He passed out under the table last night, but he just got left there, I think. He's got a bit of a headache this morning.
Anybody know Revivify?
He's sat bolt upright into that piece of wood.
Oh, he hit his head. He hit his head on the way up.
Weird bit of morning wood.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
with
God.
Boris, the mule, behind at the tavern, hitched up.
Don't say it like that. Now we feel bad.
Hitched up.
Stay safe, little guy.
Abandoned
Hitched up with a
on the
couple of
street.
carrots.
Yes.
Got to add the
Abandoned
carrots.
on the streets with a lunchbox.
To the temple.
Oh, God.
Horace, if we died, shoot yourself free.
The
Jesus.
man, the priest on the other side. Well, you assume he's a priest, cleric, some form of member of the Temple of Invict. Waves to you all and goes, "Good morning. I see you decided to take us up on the little errand. I'm glad. I really don't want to go back in there." And he leans down, and next to his feet, there's a big sort of switch, a turn switch, and he grabs it, and he wrenches it to the right. And you hear a faint ticking sound. And he goes,
Devil's
come
gonna
on,
blow.
get across before it resets. Come on.
Going.
All right.
What's your name, by the way?
As
You're
he,
getting
as
awfully
he
up
releases
close
the
and personal.
mechanism and the switch slides back into place. Reverses and slides back into place. He goes, I'm Beltrend. What can I call you, my friend?
Oh, I'm the librarian. At your service.
Just the
Horace is just
librarian?
kind of merged with
Yes,
this guy.
Yep.
just the librarian.
Who else would I be?
All right. Well, librarian and your various friends. Sorry, I didn't catch your names earlier, the other day. Which door would you like to go through? They both lead to the same place. It doesn't really matter.
Well, seeing as we can't take a step backwards, whichever one we're in front of.
Both it is. All right. And he turns to the wall behind him, and you see an array of like levers on it. Actually, something that you didn't see before because it was behind his form at the time. And as he pulls down 2 levers, both the doors slide open, and you hear a rattling sound as 2 bug-eyed, large pincer-mouthed creatures sort of rustle at
I
you.
forgot to cast Mage Armor.
And I would like you all to roll initiative.
That's
Can we
not
s-
the least of what got forgot.
Can I cast
Yeah, I
Mage
totally
Armor?
preemptively cast guidance on everyone.
Can we say I preemptively cast Mage Armor?
We did walk in here knowing we were going to have a fight.
Yeah,
for
I
once.
think that would be
I
fair.
will allow that. I will allow that.
Yes. Thank you.
I think this is the first time we've actually seen a fight coming, so it's fair.
guess I'm
16
casting
toke for
armor.
initiative.
Okay, so let me
Uh,
quickly put us into the
Given that we
template.
had such warning, can we say that I grabbed like a stone club or some kind of stone-based light weapon?
Probably not unless you were willing to buy it.
A sharp rock. Anything.
This is a
You
pebble.
got a pointy spear.
Okay, so
Just
I
one of
require-
the wooden mugs from the tavern.
your
If it
initiative,
counts as a light weapon with which to
please.
stab, I'll take it.
25 to 20.
20
20 to 15.
18.
18.
16.
16.
Um, 15 to 10.
11.
30.
13. Alright.
Great initiative modifier. Terrible rolls.
Okay. Horace, you're up first.
Alright. So, with Mage Armor already cast, I will bonus action Blade Song.
My phone.
Well, not much to do here. Not much to do here other than be a boomer. I'm going to shimmy over to this Rust Eater. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And
You can
let me
easily
just
get them.
yes. Let me just turn towards him. Okay. Well, fuck it. We guess we're there. We go. There we go. Okay. And then I will booming blade.
Okay. Roll me the damage.
I just realized when you made your boomer joke, I said okay, but I left my mic muted. Fuck.
Aww.
The unokayed boomer.
No one ever
okay, so-
asks, is the boomer okay?
Okay, so that is fuck. That's a nat 1.
That's nat 1.
Yep.
You level your sword at the Rust Eater, and it senses the metal. It senses all the metal on you, and it feels the vibration, and it dashes to the side as your booming sonic attack slices past its head, and it looks up at you. Kind of looks up at you. It doesn't really have eyes. It's got kind of antenna. And it sort of, its face turns towards you and it goes. It is not.
Oh, I don't like that.
Um,
All right.
next up.
That's good. That's gonna be my turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, it's the Rust Eater that you just tried to attack.
Ow.
Okay.
How about me?
It is going to try and attack you. That is a 12. No, 11.
Which
sorry.
misses.
Miss. The Rust Eater lunges towards you, but it hasn't quite gauged where you are yet. It misses by a fraction. Its little claw-like pincer jaw just slicing past your leg. Isaac, you're next.
Need to remember to hold V. God damn it. I'm hang on a minute. I'm assuming for purposes of map building, the doors are in the way, but I'm assuming for purposes of gameplay, the doors are not in the way?
The doors are not in the way, no. Purposes
Okay.
of gameplay, you're fine.
In which case, I'm going to shimmy, as I have, to this spot, and Isaac is going to cast Bless.
Okay.
And he is
Yes.
going to bless Horace, Ingvar, and I guess the librarian. You've got blast, haven't you? So that makes sense to bless you as well.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I bless them 3.
Okay. What does Bless do again, real quick?
Bless is basically a buff for as long as my concentration lasts. Whenever the target makes an attack roll or saving throw before the spell ends, they can roll a d4 and add that number to their attack roll or saving throw.
Okay.
And then he's going to shimmy himself back behind this wall.
Okay. Librarian, you're up next.
Okay. I cast Eldritch Blast on the lobster on our side.
Okay, roll me an attack.
The warlock did the thing!
Wait, aren't you an artificer?
Who knows? I don't.
He's a wiggly boy, is what he is.
Where's my spell suit? That's weird. Well, let me roll on you. Anyway, I'll just roll it.
I was going to say it's Eldritch Blast is an attack anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, why is it not rolling? There we go. 1d10.
Have you rolled the attack yet, mate?
Attack yet?
4.
you rolled
It
the
came through
hit?
slow.
We've got the
I need
damage.
you
We haven't
to
got the
tell me,
D20
I'm
bit
not
yet.
looking at a roll 20.
No, it was waiting for the roll to happen.
Okay, so what did you roll on the attack?
I rolled a 4, which I think I had bless on to for the attack roll, right?
You can add the D4, yes.
Yeah, you can.
Wait. You didn't roll the d20 to hit. You didn't roll the attack roll, you just rolled the damage roll.
Put it not. Oh, I forgot to put it in there. Yeah, 1d20.
1d20 plus your spell attack bonus.
And proficiency, which is part of that. I keep forgetting. Blech.
Yeah.
Basically, D&D added too many names for like a
That is,
handful of things.
30-20.
The dirty 20? That hits. Well,
Great.
yeah.
Like,
That was a 4.
years to run out of
And plus the 1d4, I guess.
No, the 1d4 is to the attack roll, not the damage
Oh, is
roll.
it? Okay.
So that's fine.
Okay, no worries then.
That's 4. Okay.
Yep.
You put your hand forward and a bolt of purple energy springs forth and arcs towards the rust monster and hits it square in the tail. And it rears back and sort of shrieks at you and kind of noise. Okay. Are you doing anything else?
Maybe actually. Let me just check something really quick. I am going to cast Sanctuary on myself as the next action cast time. Yeah. We all know what Sanctuary does, right?
I'm just proud to see someone do it the right way around for once.
Great.
a state of ethereal grace.
Right. The next Rust User is going to skitter up to you, Ingvar. He's going to attempt to bite.
Oh no.
So that is a 16.
That's a hit.
That's a hit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you take. That is 3 points of piercing damage. Okay. Next up, Ingvar, your turn.
Well, he's far too close to shoot it with an arrow. Oh.
Kick him in the nads.
have any?
He's got his short sword. He can stab it, I guess.
How attached are you to that gold sword?
Not as
very
attached
long.
as not as attached as I am to the bow and the arrows.
Well, the bow and the arrows aren't really metal so much. Tips
Yeah.
of them maybe.
Okay. You have an attack with the short sword?
Yeah.
Roll an attack.
We need to
Well-
remember to get a full wooden set of armor and equipment at some point.
Bark
Okay,
skin.
that hits regardless of anything else.
I need 1d6